Council, if we are ready to continue with the next witness, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. May I ask the usher to bring in the witness, please? Thank you.
I, Lamin Gano,
I, Lamin Gano,
do swear that
do swear that
I'll speak the truth,
I will speak the truth,
the whole truth,
and
nothing but the truth.
the truth.
So help me God.
So help me Allah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gano. Please, you may be seated.
Good afternoon, Council.
Welcome to the TRRC. Before I commence, Mr. Gano, I just wish to remind you that you've just taken an oath to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. You are expected to keep that oath, and it is a criminal offense under the laws of this country to lie under oath. It is also an offense to provide false or misleading information to the TRRC. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir, Council.
Thank you very much. Before I start my questioning, I just want to give you a roadmap of what is expected of you this afternoon. We want you to give us a brief description of your biographical information, and then to provide evidence on your role as ADC to President Jammeh, the things that you witnessed in the Presidential Alternative Treatment Program, the PATP, especially Jammeh's claim to have the cure for high blood pressure, asthma, and HIV/AIDS. We may also briefly look into his treatment of people claimed to be possessed by jinns. We would also discuss your impressions about these treatments or the claim of Jammeh that he could cure these diseases. And our concentration would be about the HIV/AIDS treatment. You may, if you wish, talk about the sources of his medicine or statements about the sources of his medicine, the experience you had testing some of the medicine, the recommendations you made for people you know to go through the treatment, and Jammeh's approach to this treatment, how he treated different people, and the kinds of information they were allowed to be privy to. The issue of witchcraft, and so forth. And at the end of the day, we would want to know whether he was a miraculous healer or he was a quack or a charlatan. So, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir, Counsel.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gano, could you kindly tell us your full names, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. My name is Lamin Gano, Counsel.
Which sharing advise you to do that? No, that's just a joke to lighten up the moment. Yeah. But Mr. Gano, yes, prayers are always good. Prayers are always good. Please proceed, please. Give us your full names and your biographical information.
My name is Lamin Gano. I was born on the 7th of January, 1973 at Sukuta, Kombo North. The first education I attended when I was at the kindergarten stage.
Could you, perhaps maybe we can interpose some local language as interpretation so that those at home would hear the testimony. Okay. Which local language would you prefer? I think we have in the booth already Mandinka interpreters. Would you accept we do Mandinka interpretation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah. So let's interpose Mandinka interpretation.
Okay.
Right. You continue to speak in English,
okay,
but you would allow the interpreters to interpret in Mandinka. Okay. But then you would have to
slow down.
Slow it down a little bit, okay, so that the interpreters would be able to interpret what you have to say. You don't want your story to, most of your story to be lost in translation.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. As I said at the beginning, my name is Lamin Gano. I was born on the 7th of January, 1973.
January 1973. Mr. Gano, I see that you have a revised statement which you have signed. And on that document, we have your date of birth as 1983. 1983. I just wish to bring this to your attention. So it is 1973. So
yes,
we have to correct that.
Yes, 83 was an error.
All right. Please proceed.
Okay. Yeah, at Sukuta, Kombo North. My first school was a madrasa, was an Arabic school. Just about 100 meters from the Sukuta Cinema Hall, Chamkunda. Until when I got to the age of 8 years in 1981, I was enrolled at Sukuta Primary School. 6 years later, in 1987, I proceeded to Nusrat High School for my O-levels. And then in 1992, I again proceeded to Gambia High School to do my advanced level. From there, I went into photography and freelance reporting. From May 1994 to December 1995. December 1995, I was appointed at the RVTH, sorry, former Royal Victoria Hospital. December 1995, Royal Victoria Hospital. As a pharmacy technician in training. Yeah, with the aim of proceeding to Ghana to study pharmacology. About 13 months later, there was an advertisement for officer cadet selection into the Gambia Armed Forces. And which year was this? This was in 1997, January. By then I was already bored at the hospital. So I immediately tendered my resignation. I gave them 1 month notice from January to February.
Na kari killing notice de la kabo January kata February wala mnyinti nga wucheo di la purka fo mbenda hala do kuala.
Although the selection was supposed to be in March.
Tombondiro nyanta kala no March karo la kono nyawnya.
I remembered my mom telling me,
hakilo nyimuta ko mbama de we nyimfonyeko.
why don't you wait until when you succeed before you leave your former job?
Muna nete batula hanfo ni nyindo ku do soto ina mana wo do bula ebe menna.
I told her I want to succeed. I want to go into this selection with a wholehearted, commitment. I don't want to leave any room for doubts or for turning back.
Akai lafta dun nanyin do koto ning hakilo ni jiko ni ntama malafi nga kutunko mameya lonko asike fula koti.
So later on, I participated in the cadet selection board.
Okola lonata mabe nying cadet tombondiru bengoto.
And I succeeded. I came second position overall.
Adun briyembe yirika alaya kentele nata plus fulanja nying ganye.
And on the 1st of May, we were officially appointed as officer cadets of the Gambia Armed Forces.
Me karo tilifolo inatantombo yenke cadet officer ti Gambia la sojar bundala.
Of which year?
1997. 1st of May 1997.
Me karo tilifolo 1997.
And what did you do after that?
Yemuneke okola kansule ya nyininka.
We were sent to the Gambia Armed Forces Training School for basic military training.
Yenki Gambia High School purkata Gambia la National Army purkata sojaro la bunda karanje.
And already as cadet officers.
Officer cadet.
Officer cadet le moyalty.
Until August, we graduated.
For August nganna karango bang.
Since there is no position for an officer cadet,
where palasti jenu tumo pour officer cadet.
The normal military orbit, that's the order of battle.
Well, ila sojaria silo tamando.
Yeah, we were sent to the training school while we await our formal training as military officers into foreign countries.
Itungo tumole na tanki sojar karamu to nga purunga batoke fojanni ibenkila bantala karamu to katawo palaso la ko karanje.
My turn came in 1998 September.
Itung ala entela bunda ele September 1998.
I was sent to Nigeria at the Nigerian Defense Academy.
Yenteki Nigeria la kanta anintanka karambumba nyinto.
Do my basic officer training.
Purkata officer ya doku karamolaji.
This lasted for 1 year. I came back to the Gambia in 1999 in September.
Waketa sanje kilinatin seta na Gambia 1999 September karokono.
With a commissioned from a cadet to a second lieutenant.
Alungam makamo mensotoje wolem second lieutenant palaso karangunyim bundala.
When I returned to the Gambia, I was posted at the Armed Forces Defense Headquarters.
Rimuruta na Gambia yen samba sojaro la kanto nintankada kordaba nyimfangoto.
As the public relations officer or the military spokesman of the Gambia Armed Forces.
Yen teleke sojaro la kumalati Gambia la sojar bundala wotembo.
I stayed in that role until July 2002.
Mbe palaso to for July 2002.
Again, I was bored in the office.
Kote ke je dal nata fasimulum ke je du kwala.
So I applied to the Chief of Defense Staff at that time, Colonel Babukar Jata, to transfer me to the infantry units.
Utumole nata safero ke Colonel Babukar Jata ya memu na nyato nkoti police and samba infantry la bundala.
Did you find infantry work more exciting?
Absolutely.
More adrenaline pumping than speaking for the army?
Absolutely. Sayendu infantry do ko munta wala kidimata ite nyakono katambi be palace follow mento wala sojar bundala kumala.
This was approved and I was posted at the 1 Infantry Battalion.
Ina tasongola yen samba 1 Infantry Battalion.
Then I asked the operations officer, the former Captain Peter Singate, why 1 Infantry Battalion?
Sayin nata Captain Peter Singate nyininka memmunna nyaton koti wotumu munan alben sambala 1 Infantry Battalion.
He said because of my height and my size, I'll be very good as a drill, so I'll be good as a ceremonial officer.
Ako katu mbalo aninalo mensi woto abe betalan to le ngatara woto pour nimbe fintila sojaro la mamanguluto.
Because it was the 1 Infantry Battalion that provides parades for the president whenever he's traveling in and out of the country.
That one infantry battalion will like a bunya lo ke president e ka fo me parade ning misali kama betamala ka finti banko kan aninka seinam banko kan.
Where was one infantry battalion located?
It was at the Yundum barracks.
Council kai one infantry battalion e be siri numinto sedo kai benu Yundum barracks.
Mr. Gano, allow for a brief 3 seconds between our speeches so that they would not overlap. Proceed, please.
I did not want to be a ceremonial officer, no, an office officer or a staff officer. I wanted to be in the infantry, so I rebelled against that idea.
Ako buriyo pala so fanam fay man kala amalla fika kenyinti do nganya sojaro bari alaftanu katara e bundato meya lonko wala be kala sojaro la infantry bundate.
Mr. Gano, considering that these testimonies are listened to by a good cross-section of Gambian society, perhaps it is important that we now and again flag certain important values. Is it really normal for junior officers to rebel against instructions or orders given by their seniors?
Council kaya nga nyindung kra jube nga abonyoto fodung nyimunyan tolete puru dindingulu sojar bundala ye nyanto sotale ka balang ila kebal la kangola wutumo.
Rebel is a wrong choice of word.
Ako kafu rebel amunta wo amang nyan nakela.
Please use a more acceptable language.
Council kaya woto femfo mensike kuti sementa.
You can raise a concern on issues that affect you as a military officer.
Isi kuolu ulindi nole me yalon ko ifang la kulong woti lafta falingula dame ni ibe wo makamo to sojar yala.
So in this case, what did you do? Did you rebel, quote unquote, against the orders? Or did you express your concerns and made suggestions as to what you thought was most appropriate under the circumstance?
Yes, I walked to the office of...
yemuneke puruila o balanda ka fintindi nyin kamala ye o balanda me yitandi fo isa tamandi no puru itilafta tala da min fo so bundadila.
I just walked to the office of the Chief of Defense Staff, Colonel Babukar Jatta.
Kata amanda kata Chief of Defense Staff la officer to ka fo me Colonel Babukar Jatta.
I told him my mind, and then he approved for me to go to Farafenye, the 2nd Infantry Battalion.
Nangani o fai alana take asonta betun akungata Farafenye wolem Infantry Battalion flanjangoti men yalon ko tumol be Farafenye.
And what was your role in Farafenye?
Council kay ila lodula mu munetinum Farafenye.
I didn't get exactly what I wanted by going to Farafenye.
Ako alafta men na fam ama soto de ala Farafenye tato.
My aim was to be appointed as a platoon commander and be posted to either Kudang or Basse.
Kala ngani yo munyene tunum puru isa ke platoon commander ti wala mfanna nyatonko puru isa samba Kudang wala Basse.
But unfortunately, I was appointed as a battalion adjutant and posted at the battalion headquarters.
Bitu inatata ka ke battalion adjutant wala battalion la dukula me ya lonko starakulu kunna inata sindi battalion dinkira nyimfangle tuje.
And to which battalion were you posted this time around?
Second Infantry Battalion in Farafenye.
Council Kai Battalion Juma ko Battalion Fulanjang Bembe Farafenye je.
How many battalions did you have at this stage?
Council Kai Battalion je lebe kerin sojar bundala o tembo.
There were about 4 battalions.
Sedo ko tumo battalion nani lebe je.
Were they of real battalion size or were they just called battalions?
Some were even more than the size of a battalion. Yeah, more or less, they were all of the battalion size.
Akai otumo battalion ulufaida ibe tembetale yiriko la karola ibe kanyantale.
Where were they located?
One was at the State Guard in Banjul, at
the State Guards Banjul,
the State House.
State House Fangoto.
Was that also partly housed or hosted at Fajara Barracks?
Fofana ye sindinum Fofana otumo ibe siring Fajara Barracks lebang.
No, they were either at Banjul, at the State House, or at Kanilai.
Sedo ko hani dol katara Banjul le wala yetara Kanilai.
And that would be the State Guards Battalion, right?
Well, State Guard la battalion before.
That's correct, Council.
Akotonyala.
Proceed, please.
Council
The second one was at Fajara.
Flanjang nyinkola benum Fajara.
And then the other one was at the Yundum.
Do benu Yundum.
And the 4th one in Farafenye.
Nani njao be Farafenye.
Okay. So you became adjutant at Farafenni Barracks.
Munda ina na adjutant li tumala men benum Farafenni.
For how long?
O sa wati juma?
I was a battalion adjutant from July 2002 until December 2003.
Did you get bored again?
Akaketa adjutant to 2002 kata for 2003.
Exactly. After 18 months, I was bored again, and then I moved on.
And this time?
Ako sanji killing kari woro kola bata anasi ta koteke dal lafta ka saun kaboji.
And then this time around, what became your new endeavor?
I was sent to Sierra Leone as a United Nations peacekeeper.
Ako yaki Sierra Leone atata Sierra Leone kake United Nations la kaira sabatindi latije.
With UNAMSIL?
Ani UNAM Simba.
It's correct, Consul.
Tonyala.
And for how long did you serve with UNAMSIL?
12 months.
Ako kartan nimfula yole ke UNAMSIL.
December 2003 to December 2004.
December 2003 kata December 2004.
Okay. And what did you do after that?
When I returned, I was posted at the defense headquarters as the military spokesman again.
Birin saitana yen samba sojar korda ba nyum fangoto ko ntelam sojarol la kumalati koteke.
I did that for 6 months until July 2004.
Ngaw ke kari woro hanfo July 2004.
And I was sent to Ghana to do my young officers course.
Ngatanki Ghana purkata funding ke nyaton ko la karaw kije.
This was a 6-month course from July 2005 to December 2000.
Mu kari woro karawol de kabo July 2004 kata December 2004.
I came back in January 2006. I was again returned to the defense headquarters as the military spokesman.
Ako bira muruta nan January ya murundi kota ke sojar korda ba yinto hanimbi atolon sojarol la kumalati.
You loved that job or that job loved you. You served in that capacity 3 times.
Do ko ni tele ya kanu bam fu do ko le nyin kan do ko le kanu ka do itarto maka o pala so do fo si saba.
I think it was the job that loves me. I really wanted to be in the field.
Ako ayamira do ko nyinne ate kan ka to ate lafta nun tarala do ko la keno le kono nun.
And you were there for another 6 months. And what happened after that?
Yes, I was there until December 2006. When I was,
for December 2006.
Then I was appointed as the ADC to President Jammeh.
The crux of your testimony really would center on this particular issue, the time you served at ADC, as ADC. But continue to tell us about your career, and then we'll come back to this point.
I served as the ADC from December 2006 to May 2008.
December 2006
that would be 18 months, right?
Approximately.
And then what happened after that?
I was returned to the headquarters for 4 months. Because while I was the ADC to Jammeh, I was awarded a scholarship to do my master's in the UK.
ADC ala Jammeh bala ye makamo dina purungata scholarship makamo karang purungata karang la America.
Did you by any chance do a bachelor's?
No, I
did not.
What was the basis for your admission to do master's?
It was based on my series of military courses as well as my peacekeeping experience.
Ya la na sojar karangul le kam menu bulata nyo noma aninga londo men soto sojar ya duko tamandoto.
Proceed, please.
So between May to September, before I proceeded to the UK, I was back at the defense headquarters, again as the military spokesman.
Many September tema kotake ye murundi sojar kurda bato kotake kanke kumalati sojar bundala.
During those 4 months, I founded the first edition of the Armed Forces magazine called Ahua.
Wo kari nano wuche okono ntelenga sojaro la kibar kaito bondi menketa sinya foloti ikafome Ahua.
From September 2008 to January 2010 was the duration of my master's degree.
Kabo September 2008 kata hanufo December 2010 wala ketanna
December
masters
or January?
January kata hanufo 2010 wala ketanna masters karango wuce otinu.
I returned back to the Gambia in January 2010.
What did you study?
Murutan Gambia 2010.
I studied African peace and conflict studies.
Kansul ka yamuna kara kwa mo findu la fitina kulu anin Cairo sabatini nyale karang.
Which uni?
It was called the University of Bradford.
Akoy ka fole University of Bradford.
Proceed, please.
Tendeng.
And I'm proud to add that I had a master's with a merit.
We are not surprised at all. Gambians perform very well when they go abroad. Proceed, please.
Yeah. So when I returned in January 2010, I was posted at the defense headquarters again.
January 2010. Yeah, samba soldier korda bal to koteke.
This time around, not as the military spokesman, but as the military assistant to the Chief of Defense Staff.
Yinsilo manke kumalati de yanke soldier nyatun ko fon no lankolti soldier korda bati je.
At what rank?
Makama Juma.
By then I was a major.
Ako tembo amu major letinu.
I was military assistant to the Chief of Defense Staff as well as the procurement officer for the armed forces.
Akatelom nyatunko no lankoti baro tembo fanan ateleketa kolu sandirlati aninka kolu nyini sojar bundala sola kolto.
I did that for only 6 months and I was sent to Nigeria.
Akaye kari woro lekeuto inataki koteke kata Nigeria.
The Command and Staff College.
Ila nyatonko ni dokulala karambungo to college nyinto je.
To do another military course.
Purkata sojari londi karando fanan kije.
I returned to the Gambia in January 2011.
Kamrutanang Gambia January 2011.
From January 2011 to November 2011, I was at the headquarters again.
Kokabu January 2011 kata hanifo December 2011 koteke abeje wo sojar kordal tonu.
As the military assistant to the Chief of Defense Staff, as well as the military spokesman again.
Atelebe sojar nyaton ko nyin no mabari hanimbi atelem koteke kumalati yo palaso murundi akang.
November 2011.
On November 2011,
I was sent to Darfur as a military staff officer.
Ya ki Darfur kake sojar do kulal fanal nyaton koti.
And I was appointed there as the disarmament, demobilization and reintegration officer.
Andu ye palaso men diala woto wolem ka jorang lu bondi kele la lu bulu anim fana ibe kelo dimba du ben nyaming yo palaso le diala je.
I returned to the Gambia in January 2013.
Amurutan Gambia January 2013.
I was appointed as the Inspector General of the Gambia Armed Forces.
Tumolo ya tombon ka ke Inspector General ti Gambia la sojar bundalu kun.
At what rank?
Makama
I
Juma.
was a Lieutenant Colonel.
Ako tumo Lieutenant Colonel wole makamu babulu.
I did that for only 5 months until May 2013.
Akay karlu le ko to for May 2013.
Then I tendered my resignation from the Gambia Armed Forces.
Ko natala fonyo kaito safe kabe dahala kabo Gambia la sojar bundala.
This must be one of the first or one of the few resignations from the army by a very senior officer.
Kansul ka nyine bekela mo foloti kabo sojar kundaro makamo la karota no kewala makamo la ba maribul ayne fonyo sojar kundaro.
No senior officer had ever resigned before.
Ako nyaton kaman soto meyo makamo soto mennene ye ifonyo janninte bakela.
Were you arrested, detained, tortured for resigning?
Fo enarane mudala banke muda ke bulo le kan ke tilimbali afana fo dallo kam nyin kamala ko e fonyo menke ba.
Fortunately, I was not. However,
Akoto nyala ala la kanto kan wo mankenna.
Staff at the State House who was present when President Jammeh was approving my resignation
Kula soto ntamembe no State House bring President Jammeh be sonna ntelan dahala.
told me that Jammeh say is giving you only 3 months, you will come back and beg him for a job.
Ako Jammeh nyine foko abe karisabale dilela ibe murula na mpurkana dani pra do ko dila koteke.
That's quite an interesting statement to make. But nothing at all happened to you for resigning.
Unyabo warra bagal bari kuman kela dalilo me asa wato men itata ye fonyo nyin do ko la.
Absolutely nothing.
In fact, your resignation was approved by Jammeh, wasn't it?
Ila fonyo nyin ya Jammeh fon le sonda la sign.
Sedo ko ha.
And you have since moved on to other things.
Yes, sir, Council.
An kabi itata fanna doldo.
You had a good relationship with Jammeh, didn't you?
Ya hada maya kende bala soto ini ya Jammeh foto nyande.
A very, very good one.
Ako chokinyo la kende ba.
I will underline those words, very, very good one. And in fact, as ADC, you would have a close relationship with the president.
Kake ADC di goto abe kala nyine de ko hada maya kende bala be ning ya Jammeh tema fo.
Proceed, please.
Yes, close as far as our working relationship is concerned.
Let me just take you back a little bit. What you said earlier escaped me. You said, fortunately, I was not tortured. What do you mean by that?
Ila okoto muneti kafoko ala de maro kande imante lipa. Okoto muneti.
When I submitted my resignation on the 1st of May, it took until July the 2nd before I got the approval. Usually it does not take that long.
But it wasn't July 22nd, it was July 2nd.
July 2nd.
Good. And why do you say, or did you say, fortunately, you were not tortured? Why that language? You're very eloquent in English. You choose your words very, very carefully. Why do you say, fortunately, you were not tortured?
Because
during that period, from the submission of my resignation to the approval, I was like getting a lot of messages from my colleagues, some of whom are senior officers in the Gambia Armed Forces.
Ako kabring ayala daha letero dundi fo janni wato men atebala jabiri letero sotonna aka chokinyolo soto aka kumolu moyi aka kumolu soto aka funyo molu bulu men yalon ko lebe do kola ni menu tarta nyokan do kola nungo tembo
trying to persuade me to withdraw my resignation.
Be lafidi nyina lum pour kate sondi ay daha men ngani ya prasi o baya ay murunan do kodo
or to travel out of the country and send my resignation from outside.
Pour asitama fang ay banko bula ay la daha letero nyin kinan kabo banko e bantala.
Why were they suggesting that?
I think it's based on their knowledge of the temperament of Jammeh, his unpredictability.
Na mira etelula Jammeh long kumu façon mem mwati anala jusobe no nyamin woliyo leta ya mira pour nenta kulu kala wala nyam. Mike
Council.
Thank you very much. His temperament and unpredictability, those are the words you use.
Yep. Yes, sir, Council.
Council kaenne jusobe no nyamin ani mo buka fono sinin abenyine kala sedo kai ha.
These are things you would know about, considering you served as his ADC for 18 months.
Yes, sir,
Council. So we would come back to these things. And did they say any other reason why they wanted you to go outside and resign from outside?
Meya sabu yo miro dila puru ye findi banko e bantala ni iftara banko e bantala sini la letter daha fo nyinkina.
This was the first time in the history of the Gambia Armed Forces it was happening.
Nina msinya foloti Gambia la tariko kono sojaro la karola puru nyaton ko membe ko place fasonto ayeda.
So it could really go anyway.
Andung asikeno le nyawnyandi nyama.
They were concerned about my safety and security as well.
Could you elucidate this? Could you break it down so we understand what the environment was like and how your resignation could have been perceived or dealt with?
Foi sin ko ni sa jaba ke sonyo woto no mole na bang mole yalo na ko kol belari nu nyame banko kanya but foi sa be ke se bonni no mole nyoto bang.
Again, it's really based on the unpredictability of President Jammeh.
O bebe laring kule ka memu President Jammeh jiko Kenyati wairi mo bukato long sining abe menkela.
We would have seen the resignation anyhow.
Asio daha jeno le nyawnyandi nyama.
Like?
Nyadi.
He could have approved it like the way he did it if he was in his good mood.
Asisonno le ka ta ka songala natara abe ataranya nyimma kono.
But if he was in a serious mood, it could have been totally different.
But na be serer jiko kono asikeno kudoti.
That's a good one. We would not take offense. And on, if his serious mood was on, what kind of action or reaction did you expect he would make?
He had all the options. He could have disapproved my resignation and then maybe follow it up, with a kind of a witch hunting or trying to arrest or to detain or whatever.
Ning aya tara abe nya sangaro nyalema asa tanu le nyawnyandi nyama wala mnyinti ay balang nadahala wala ay noma puru nyin kamala asa nambara no nyame silo kang silawo silala.
Would that have been lawful?
Absolutely not.
Why was it expected that he would behave in such a way?
Because over the time, we've all witnessed, his kind of erratic decisions and actions. We've all witnessed those kind of things in the past.
Ala manyalu to akaw manya sangarolu menu kenun tumanintuma ning misali kama kolu dolu keta menu kibaro futata ma wallahi menu je.
Isn't that really putting it mildly? It wasn't just erratic behavior. You're talking about his propensity to commit crimes, to violate the rights of Gambians. That's what you're talking about.
Italo miralo italo manya sifaldo fo manke manya le me alonko aka Gambia dingol la nyanto le tinye ibulu manke nyindi dronka akake adia akela nyanto le tinye ibulu.
I wouldn't know the context of other people who had those kind of experiences with him, but for me, my experience with him, it never went that way. So personally, I cannot say that, that I cannot associate that thing to him because he has never,
Ndeta fono la alaw sangara manya lu Benjamin ka anin dolu tambita silo menna ka to ndena ate tema wo sangara kolu wo façon lu nene mandu na tema wala na ndeta fono la ko alawa sangaro beten wala ay nyinni asinyinni nyine keno wairi anin amo kentela atambita nin dolle tema men mankentete.
Mr. Gano, you sugarcoating it now, aren't you?
Okay, Mr. Gano, iba kunyi saying, iba talakan ne saying. Iba nyandikan.
People's situations are different.
Mola Kenya lu fatatale.
Mr. Gano, I'm not talking about your specific situation. We are talking about Jammeh's personality, his character. From your own words, he was unpredictable. He was erratic. He could have had you arrested even though that was illegal. People were scared or afraid for your safety. Doesn't that disclose a propensity on the part of Jammeh to violate the rights of Gambians? I'm not saying Lamin Gano. I'm talking about Gambians in general.
Kansul kay ma fo ite fam kundi wala Lamin Gano be Gambianol bella.
But the fact that he did not do that to me,
answer the question. The question is not specific to you.
Kansul kay la mo nyinin karo nyi manke fam kunno doronti.
Remember, you are under oath.
Hakilo murundi koma ko e kalo leta.
You were a senior officer of the Gambia National Army.
Ke bala mole mudini na sojar kundala do ku bundado.
The rank of a lieutenant colonel.
Makamo men kamuda lieutenant colonel.
One step from a general.
Kabo fan simfado do kata fo general simfado do.
We expect you
Jikita nyinne buluko.
be absolutely honest.
Pour yetiling.
That is our expectation. It's the minimum we can ask of a person of your stature.
Jikita udronele bulu ila makamo la tembo daro.
You told the commission this guy was erratic.
Ye info commission ya mu mole de me alon ko abuka long abuka sabati.
He was unpredictable.
Mo buka la ko long.
In fact, in your statement, you said today he could be an angel, the next day he could be something else.
Ya fo ila ki statement ko membe saferin ko bi asikeno malaiko de sama yake mo façon dodi.
And that something else is he could be the devil, isn't it?
Andu ko dolti asikeno ay nak jindo fananti.
Isn't it?
Ponde.
actually I was like 2 ranks away from a brigadier general, first of all.
Well,
when it comes to his other moods and his other relationship with people, I don't know what triggered those things. There might be something about those people that triggered whatever reactions. The fact that I don't know, and I was not there, I don't know what is transpiring underneath. I cannot say that, that is what he is. I can only judge him based on my personal experience with him.
Ako anim modolu tema sangaro men atambitani modolu tema nte fem fono lauto wairi amo kentela ayo ke modolela asekeno kulle betama kan duma nte mamello mambo men kalama bari bitun wairi ama atilintela wala nantita auto fono wala.
But you are drifting further from the truth, Mr. Gano. Your knowledge of a person is not limited to your personal interaction with that person, is it? You can know about a person from that person's interactions with other people. True or false?
That's right.
In fact, you said that Jame was temperamental. You said he was erratic. You said he was unpredictable. You said sometimes he is an angel and the next time he was something else. I will fill in the blanks. When we say he is today a devil, the next day he is something else, by that we mean he is the devil. And that is exactly what you meant. True or false?
Being erratic and unpredictable, it can be 2 ways. It can be erratic and unpredictable in a good way.
Mr. Gano, these are not positive characteristics, are they?
I
don't know whether the Mandinka interpretation is correct, but these are not attributes that people are praised for, being erratic. These are not attributes that anybody would hail in any person, isn't it? In fact, these are negative attributes, aren't they?
They are, but we all have them as human beings.
We are not talking about we. We're not talking about we. We are talking about Jame. These are your own words. You have described him as something opposite of the angel, didn't you? In fact, that means he is the devil sometimes. I see you shaking your head. Could you indicate a yes or a no?
Yes, based on the testimonies I have heard here, I can come to that conclusion, yes.
But not only that, you had more intimate interactions with Jame, being with him almost on a daily basis for 18 months. You knew him. He was the devil sometimes. That is your testimony.
Will it surprise you if I tell you that during the 18 months I served with him, he was more an angel than anything?
To you?
To me, and
yes.
Based on my interactions with him?
Yes, to you. But to use your own word again, fortunately, this is not about you. This is about other vulnerable members of our society. And how he treated them. And that is why you said sometimes he was the devil. The record does not show nodding. Say yes or no.
Yes, but I came to that conclusion after hearing the series of testimonies on this TRRC. I came to the conclusion that yes, sometimes he was really, something else.
Ako bitunga fanana tala wala biringa ay molla sede yarol moy menu fa ama wala nata ay tandinde fanana ko to tonya nyim fanan malaiko ko la asekeno le fendoti.
No, he is the devil sometimes. That's what you say, right?
Unkonna experience what is based of nga coolmen moy at the TRRC yang ha ngani conclusion also to ko hade wodaji kasi fal babulule barinte natela personal experience during the 18 months wato men nambije ama wodaji ko itande.
Mr. Gano, thanks for interpreting that already, so we don't have to revisit it. Are you really serious?
Yes,
that the first time you realized that Jame was truly the devil was after hearing TRRC testimonies? That's what you're telling us?
No. Incidences have happened that definitely we all know about, which we are definitely not in line with normal.
Yes, and the interpretation is suggesting jinn. And jinn can be positive, can be good. Here it would mean Satan, I suppose. Huh? Yes, so let's get that clearly.
Okay.
What I am driving at is, we want to have truthful testimony from you. Your being here would send a very good signal to members of the Gambia Armed Forces who are still wearing our uniform. The values that you saw here would be important to them.
Kansuluka mbe mayita la Gambian kulu la wolem men ya lonko hanimbi na bankola sojar uniform wala be wolula pour isa long sojaria amakamo abelari nyami nyimbanko kalafta o betale yitandila banko sojarol la nyintembe.
We want you to be absolutely truthful.
Lafta yellow tonya kang memu tonya saharingoti.
That is the only interest we have.
The
The truth and the absolute truth.
tonya an manke an femfente me yalon ko manke tonyati.
You did not come to the conclusion that Jammeh was truly the devil only after TRRC. You must have known before.
Asikeno amanke ko biriye TRRC lamoelom inata lon ko jamme mu setanolde. Bari asikeno ite fango yalon ne jannibe mulu lamoela menu nata TRRC.
True or false?
Tonya bang fo ku soto balia.
There were incidences before even the TRC started that we, members of the armed forces and the general public, were all aware about.
Olu ketale hani jannin TRC damu to meni alonko jama mulu anin sojarulu fangulu bebota wo kolu kalamale meni alonko iketa.
And from those incidences, you were able to draw the conclusion that this person was not a good man.
Amunda ko ni sabati ndoro inata la lonko nyimu monke moti me alonko amanke ku mo kendoti.
Not necessarily.
Asikeno amanke nyawnyandi nyama.
But you were able to draw conclusions that he could be the devil sometimes.
Bari wa inata na nyimko sabati leko wato do asikeno setanoti.
I'm not sure I used the word devil. I used a sailor man. But what I mean is actually not somebody who can be, let's say, aggressive, violent, that kind of a person.
Kafoko serer keo. Bara bitungola mnyintiko. Asikeno le mo sangaroti.
Mr. Gano, we have a lot of ground to cover. Let's stop dilly-dallying and call a spade a spade. When you wrote your piece, you're a very eloquent person. You have good command of the English language. You cannot turn around now and want to sugarcoat it.
Council Kayako, Ngatonya Mutonyalti. Italy Kumakon in Safe, and Tubabukan Yamwela, Senate Yamal.
The truth is, you said Jammeh can sometimes be the devil.
Yeah, Jammeh, what do Akake, Gino, the Warano Saitano?
That's
my statement.
You just hear me out. You just admitted to that here.
It's on the science and the
I fill the blanks for you, and you accepted it. You said sometimes he's an angel, and sometimes he's something else.
Something else.
Those are your exact words. And I feel that the blanks to you that something else is the devil. And you said yes. So no amount of sugarcoating would make the devil equivalent to someone who is violent.
But
even if we were to accept that, the violence part of him, the violent character of Jammeh, is not something to celebrate, is it?
But Council, look at the context. Sometimes these incidences were in relation to an attempt to overthrow him.
Wade. Where are they?
Some of the incidences, witnesses have come here and they said they were part of a plan to overthrow him.
And Mr. Gano, are you a lieutenant colonel who would encourage rule of law, or are you a lieutenant colonel who would encourage violence, rule by the gun, doing everything by the power of the gun?
Council Gago, for Lieutenant Colonel, me maka multi, me alonko, ibe maralo kela, luala maralo ebetilin nyabitilina wallabam, for kidola maralo ebola fasala, for benyatilina walla, kidola maralo.
I am on the path of peace and rule of law.
Very happy to hear that.
The
the violence was wrong, it was unlawful.
Amunta fitino omu kule de me alon ko ani luwa manta.
Correct?
Tonya?
In some cases, yes.
In every case.
Council ka nyasi obe nyama.
In every case.
Council ka nyasi obe nyama.
The extrajudicial killings were unlawful, were they not?
Amul fa ani luwa ya kono fo betata ba oni luwa tata ba.
Selo fanko ha omni luwa manta.
The forced disappearances,
Kamo mutaka force to yemandi.
those were unlawful.
Very unlawful.
Oni luwa manta.
Selo fanko tonya la woni luwa manta.
The tortures and the rapes, they were unlawful.
Mol muta ke lipa anen ke nyapinka ya. Po fanani luwa tata ba.
The unfair and the unlawful dismissals, unlawful.
Kamul fana muta ke bay la pala soro fo fanani luwa tata ba.
The unlawful appropriation of people's properties, that too was unlawful.
Aninka boy mol la fengol kan soto fengol kan kenol lemba waranton kordal fo fanani luwa tata ba.
And misleading people into a treatment program that was false, that too is unlawful.
Mol fana filindi nya silo fanna la me alon ko jaralo silo lem fo fana mu luwa wo fana ni luwa tata ba.
Yes, if it is proven to be false, yes.
These are the things we are talking about.
Council ka nyillen ko de men diam kan.
They are all unlawful.
Ni be ni luwa manta.
And they are all an attack on the rights of constitutionally guaranteed rights of the Gambian people.
Anu ni be mu kulde men yalon ko boy kangol le men kita mol la yalon ko ila nyan tol tinya ko men luwa e sembentia nyame.
Could you answer after my questions?
Fo esi jabiro di ngani ni karo di la nyame.
What was your answer?
Muna mu la jabiro di.
Which question was that?
The last questions. All these
yes.
are violations of rights of Gambian people.
Absolutely.
Be mu nyanti tinya le me yalon ko ya boyta ya ki Gambian ol.
Can we have the answer on the record, please?
Sedo ko wolem to nya fangoti.
Good. So now let's go back to your role as ADC.
Council ka sila ngamurun koma ngata fanna la me yalon wato men nay munun ADC ti.
What was your role?
Muna mu ila do ko tinu.
One of the roles of an ADC is VIP protection.
Nado ko kono kilimbije wolem ka alfa makama tiolu kanta.
Another one is to be a personal assistant to the VIP.
Do fana munyenti pour ka ke kafundangoti makorilati alfa nyaton ko lukang.
And any other administrative issue around the office.
Anin do ko sambanya kotangulu meni ya lonko inyanta kila office.
The role of an ADC starts when he steps out of his house.
ADC la do ko kadati ning amarif nyaton ko nyim fintita la bunkono.
And it ends the moment he enters his house again.
Akadanda min na mari muruta na mfadunta la bunkono ADC la lodula kabanjele.
Which means to say that for most of the time you worked as an ADC to Jame, you were with him every time he steps out of his house.
Wato wala mindi ko akoto minade wala mindi ko wato jama be ni ya jame fintila iki ni wa ya jame ka wato be ke nyokanne ning a fintita fo ning wato mena dundala bunkono.
Correct, Council.
And in January 2007,
January 2007,
Yaya Jammeh made an important pronouncement about treatments. Do you remember that?
Very well, Council.
Could you tell us what he said?
He convened a cabinet meeting.
Selo ko ay cabinet bengole kumandi cabinet ni o moy banko alfalu kumalu ke ben nyokan.
Invited all the press, the GRTS and the others.
Ay kibar bunda lu be kumandi GRTS and kibar bunda kotanglu.
And then made a declaration that he has got the means to treat HIV and AIDS.
Ay nyin kankula jele ko ateye ro sotole anim boro mensi HIV AIDS jar.
Mr. Witness. Let's call a spade a spade.
Council ka sedo nga tonyamu tonyalti.
And let's avoid putting a spin
nga ko nyimbula pour ka ko nyinta ka tramondon
to events that have taken place.
Ko la men yalon ko ketale.
Like I told you,
comme nga fo nyame.
It's already a bitter pill. Don't sugarcoat it.
Ni mukule men ko ku jawla ketal don kana ko nyinta ya nyinyandi.
Say it as it is.
A fodron aketa nyame.
What did Jammeh say?
Yaya Jammeh ay munafo.
He said he can treat HIV and AIDS.
Mr. Witness, did you give a statement?
Council ka sedo fo e kuma kan odila do membe safero to ba.
Did you give a statement? Mr. Gano?
Yes, I did.
And you reviewed your statement this afternoon?
Ndon council ka nyin tileblo na njikira nyinda ko imuru ila kuma kan nyin ya imuru ta be kan ka karanku.
You in fact signed this statement just at around 2 p.m., correct?
Nyin kuma kan nyin memu nyin statement o de ya sign nyin tileblo na mem ko da talam fula ma fa ngala te foto.
Correct?
Yes,
Council.
And before signing it, you read the statement?
Yes, I can.
And obviously, the contents of the statement would be fresh in your mind. Correct?
Yes,
could you take a look at this document? I know you have a copy. I'll give you my own copy so we will tender it. That is your statement. You acknowledge?
Yes,
can we have the interpretation? Mr. Chair, we would want to exhibit this statement.
Council ko kaya ko Mr. Kiaman ila dunyo kan bela fula sedo la kuma kan nyin ka lafa na sede jaro kan.
I'll give you the exhibit number as soon as I get it from my colleagues. But with your permission, can I have it admitted as an exhibit?
Bar hanin ka bila dunyo kan Kiaman fo isi song nyin kai to ta ngalafa na sede jaro kan.
Request granted.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Gano, you have your own copy, don't you?
Yes,
Council guy, Mr. Gano, copy
could you go to paragraph 4?
Council guy, first unani nyangoro bang. Sapa nani nyangoro.
Yes, I can.
Just hold a second. Okay, can you read paragraph 3, please? Read it out.
The Presidential Alternative Treatment Program began less than a month after my appointment. One day in January, the President called his cabinet members and made a pronouncement that he had discovered a cure for HIV and AIDS.
Would you stop there? This is what he said, correct?
Yes, Council.
So he did not say he had a treatment for AIDS.
Yes, discovered.
Do you agree? He said he had discovered the cure for HIV and AIDS,
Yes,
correct?
Council, correct.
Council kayako fo akole ko ay londo soto landra ay sudero kele jaralo membe kala HIV jarano
HIV AIDS kende yandi.
Okay. Exactly. So this is yes, and that would be on page 4 of the statement. It's paragraph 4, so the paragraph would take care of it. But it's all right. Paragraph 4, page 4. So in a sense, he said this was a breakthrough. It has never happened anywhere in the world. He has the cure for HIV and AIDS.
Council kay
correct?
Nimbe kala kula do melan ko abekala tari quality kadon anana manki dunia daoda ko abe jaralo ke ka jaralo ke nyin kura mem HIV AIDS akende ande
selo fonka ha to nyala.
Can we get some assistance in the Mandinka language?
Amunta welem president la kuma kango nyine tandi ko ate ye fero soto le abe HIV AIDS jankaro kende yandi la nyamin.
Because jaralo and kende yandi are different. So jaralo may mean treatment, but kende yandi would mean to cure.
To cure.
Isn't that the case? So here we are talking about Kendeyandi, and we are not talking about Jararo, because Jararo is a loose term, isn't it? Okay, let's proceed. And having said that, did he do anything about it?
Did I do anything about
Did he, Jame, do anything about it?
Yes, he did.
Tell us what he did.
He started the treatment right away.
Yes, proceed, please. How did he do that?
There was a kind of a hut, an enclave, just about 100 meters from his residence.
That
was the place he was using as a treatment center.
Could you describe what went on in that place as part of this treatment program?
Before actually he came out, patients were already registered. I don't know what process they went through and how they were registered. They were already assembled at this treatment center. Then the medicine was also already prepared and then brought to the treatment center. So basically, he will just come out and administer these medicines to the patients.
As far as you know, what diseases did Jame claim he could cure?
About 4.
Kindly name them, please.
One was HIV and AIDS.
HIV.
Other one was hypertension or high blood pressure. The other one was asthma. And then infertility.
How about people who are claimed to be possessed by the devil or by jinns?
That issue emerged during the treatment of these 4 main areas.
People
will come to the treatment center. Sometimes, some people, when they get close to him, they will like faint or collapse. And then he will say that it's a jinn, and then he knows how to deal with the jinns. Then he will recite some verses and he will hold his Quran in his hand. And then also rub some water or whatever it is. To these patients until they recover and they come back to normalcy.
So it is on that basis that it is claimed that he can also treat people possessed by jinns or cure people possessed by jinns.
That's
correct, Council.
And during these treatment programs, were you present?
Yes, I was present in all of them.
During the time you served as ADC?
Correct, Council, because even after I left, the treatment still continued.
Mr. Chair, I have a stack of pictures here, which I would like to show the witness.
Council kai kiaman ila dunyo kan natalo dol ben bulu jam bele fra kamentandi sedola.
These stacks of pictures were provided by the last witness, and we would tender them as part of the evidence of that witness. But in the meantime, I would just show them to this witness, and then we'll give you the references again later.
Council kai kiaman ni natalo ni sedo labo ni wole dinna bari belaf be dunla diamo kono bari be tambin lan wo sedo labo wala bari belaf la don pour ka tandi ni sedo la membe sirin dem pour ka tonya yande no ay jube folo.
Are these pictures taken during the treatment program?
Absolutely.
Council guy fanyi natalo yeta wato mena jaralo nyimbe kerimba.
Selo fanko tonya wolem.
Could you see yourself in the pictures?
Fere fan kunno fay fanje je ni natalo to ba.
Yes, sir, Council.
Selo ko ha. Mfango bije sojar uniform obenna.
Thank you very much. You may show them to the chair and to the commissioners. So having been present during these treatment programs, you would definitely know of some of the things that happened there during the program, correct?
Tembo men na ebe no mabere nyin jararo nyin wicho nyin kono woto ebe kala molti me yalon ko ebe londi sotala nyin jararo nyin ata manir nyaado to nya.
Can you describe to the commission what happened during these treatment sessions?
Isa fono commission e mune kake nyin jaralo nyin wicho nyin kono mune ketaje.
For the asthma, the hypertension, and the fertility was very simple and straightforward.
Ako asthma wolem sisati yele siya nyin aning kurang me yalon ko wolemu mbusol la jidi baliyati.
Simply involved the drinking of some liquids that have already been prepared.
And have you ever had any experience, personal experience with this medicine?
Yes, I did. We used to drink most of those medicines that was brought to.
And did it have any impact on you? Did it have any impact? I didn't say koleakuo. Did it have an impact?
A little impact. For example, the second day after I drank it, I realized there were some black patches around my fingertips. Yeah, so
during ayaming asomo anata finguluje abulukonding nungulubala.
I even showed it to him, and he was saying that probably it is coolie and it might be coming out from my system.
Ako ayo itandi president fangolale ako kayanko asikeno nyi mukulu fetengoleti membe fintikang ijato kono.
In all honesty, was that normal?
What was normal? The marks?
Was it normal that you drink some medicine and you begin to see black spots on your fingertips? Was that
normal? I really don't know. I hardly get sick, mashallah. I'm not into drinking whether herbal medicine or white medicine, so I really not know whether it is normal when you take those kind of medicine. What happens?
Have you
kama long katu ate ala akai ala tendu ala sasa mamfea yo adunga la nyimbori fasongulu mingulu fana mamfea bari wala na atafono la malon dal fo omukuleti men dal takela.
Have you ever seen anything like this happen to anybody? You drink medicine and then you start to see black spots on the person's fingertips.
Sida nying fo ina fa onana ina kaja ka keta modo ko tengola bang kaim boro minga ina na min fem sival kana finti alengos bulkon
I've not been paying attention to that.
Ka sedo ko amma hakilotu nungoto.
You've never seen it.
Ina na maji.
And it was cause for concern to you, wasn't it?
Kule me alonko ay deunne foto nyande.
Yes, Council.
And that is why you told him.
Yes, Council.
And the response you received was suspect.
Amon jabiro e men sota bul wala nyindi ko ako ko asikeno kulu fetan wala mo akabe be boro men wala sabo be findi kanna.
Not really suspect.
Wala nyindi ko asikeno ay sobindi kula.
Doesn't matter to me.
Ako bari man ke ate soboti ka to kulo ngoti dal ama attack kumu.
But what you saw was sufficient to worry you to some extent.
Bari menja keta kulde me alon ko ay sile pour me alon ko akede abekele deunda.
I was not worried.
Even though you're seeing black spots on your fingers.
Ano nyaanya e fem fingol je ngon singol wi bul kon ningol bala.
It was really minor.
Sedo ko mu kundin neti wala na ma deum.
But you were convinced about Jammeh's treatment.
Bari te fongo ilata ya jamela njara lola.
Not convinced. Because I'm not a beneficiary, I've not been sick, he has not treated me, so I'm not convinced. Neither am I in doubt whether it is working or it does not work.
Kamanke ko alata la de katwa mang ate mankura ngando amang boro mi kama purka jara walanna ate femfono la mang hakil fula sota koto katwa makala ngolo.
You were at least convinced enough to recommend your mom and cousin for treatment.
Yes, I did.
Kansul ka bari woto aya ilata la hanfo isanaw anin ibama ye ni ya marodi pour fanale dabula jara ronyindo.
And what were they to be treated for?
Nyanta wulu jara la num munela
Hypertension.
selo ko yelesia.
Both of them had hypertension.
Both of them.
Kansul ka munta mo fulo be yelesia le soto selo ko hay mo fulo be yelesia.
Did they do the treatment?
Jara lo nyin kele bang.
They did. It was just you drink it once, and he said that is it. You don't need to take it again.
Akoy dunta jara rojin kono le boro min sinya kiling akoy o kanyantala manjere aliyasa inkanta ko teke.
So, and your people did as were instructed.
Yes, they took the medicine. You actually take it in his presence.
And he claimed you drink one bottle or one glass, you are cured of hypertension.
For good.
That is what he said.
Yep,
and you believed him.
At that time, I had no reason to doubt him.
And your mother also believed him.
He did.
And your cousin also believed him. They drank the concoction.
He did.
Is your mom free of hypertension?
Both of them are still alive and they are still hypertensive. In fact, my cousin had a stroke not long ago because of this hypertensive.
Was Jammeh truthful to them or did Jammeh lie to them?
Yeah, council Jammeh
I
will say his medicine, hypertensive medicine, did not work.
That is not the answer to my question. Did Yaya Jammeh tell them the truth or did Yaya Jammeh lie to them?
I will say he failed them.
You see, Mr. Witness, I will not be tired. I will ask my question and you will answer it. Did he tell them the truth or did he lie to them?
Counsel, if I promise you a service and and the service is failed, I may not necessarily have lied to you. Perhaps when I was promising you those services, I believed that it was going to work. But after I did it, it failed.
It would still be a lie, whether you believed in it or not. It does not change the character of the information the person received. It was a lie. It was not a cure for hypertension, correct?
Kansule nyina fayanko boro nyina tamabalia anaketa nyawnyandi nyama mukumala sutia kama musafo ko kuma soto balolem faniyalem wairi atayafo men kam amantama woto wolem nyintiko ay faniyale foye.
I will accept, but I'll prefer to say he failed. I prefer to use the word.
Sedo kabe sonna wala le bare atela kuma kamoto ateba fulale ko ala boro nying amunta amanta mawli.
You would prefer to sugarcoat, and I would prefer to call it by its right name.
Ite ba to nyinyandila le bare nte ba fulale ko to me nyana fulale mbe to le fulale.
He lied to them.
Ay faniyale foye.
He lied to your mother.
Ay faniya foye ba mai. Tonya.
He lied to your mother, correct?
Not
necessarily. I prefer to use he failed them.
Probably
he had the intention or he believed that it was actually going to work. It did not work. That is the definition of a lie, then yes, I accept.
Boro nyimanta makadu ate bo dila la tumomen asi keno ko ate fango lata la ko nyimboro betama lale barna manna tama nta fono la kay faniya la fo nsa fono ndoronko ala boro mantama bar niya fo le nyama fana mbe sonna.
The definition of a lie
faniya akoto menti
is something that is not true.
Wala mnyindi kula me alon ko amanke tonyati.
He told them something that was not true. Correct?
What is the definition of failure?
We are not. That's not my concern. Answer my question. We will come to the part of him failing them.
Let's
finalize this issue and move on.
I agree.
He lied to them.
Yes, he did, based on that definition.
And then come the people with HIV/AIDS. He was treating these people, correct?
Correct, Council.
And he promised them that he was going to cure them within what period of time?
I cannot remember the exact time frame, maybe 7 days, but I really cannot remember the exact.
Mr. Witness, go back to your statement. Didn't you say 3 days in your statement? Didn't you say 3 days in your statement?
Paragraph is
no, I'm looking for the paragraph. Just give me a second. You said he would cure them in 3 days. But do you remember him saying he would treat them in 3 days?
He gave a time frame.
Okay, look at paragraph 18 of your statement. 18, paragraph 18. And that would be page 6. Perhaps maybe in the version you have signed, maybe that would be, just a moment. Paragraph 17. Page 6. Beginning with some patients were in a very bad state when they first attended the program.
17, that's not what it said.
It starts with some patients were in a very bad state. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you read the last sentence? They looked better from when they went in. However, Jammeh stated he was going to cure the patients within 3 days. However, some of them ended up being there until I left.
That is correct.
Bari doluna tatarajele hanfo wato men ntenganda hado ko la ngetuje.
And for how long were you there?
18 months, I will say.
Did he tell them the truth or did he lie to them?
That was not true.
So he lied.
Munda e fani ale foy.
seeɗo fanko toñala e faniyale foye.
And these people, have you ever encountered any one of them
kansulka o koñin kola fo inene ñimmolu bentale o koñin be kola bam fayni hani
who said he or she was cured of HIV/AIDS?
men silo ka foko HIV/AIDS men yate mutanum akende yatale.
Have you ever seen?
Faynene yejele ba.
I have never interacted with them outside the treatment center.
Have you ever seen
Kansul
anyone?
asedo ko nene ni
claims?
manyoje jararo kola.
I've never seen them at all.
Aka nene meje freng.
Answer the question.
Kansul ka nyini ngaro jaay.
The question is, have you ever seen anyone who claims to have been cured of HIV/AIDS?
Kansul ko ngai nyini ka men wala nyindi fo eni nyini mol men dunta jaralo kono fo eni mo nana bentala ba ko jaralo nyi kende yata la ban jaralo men ngata jambele en programme kon.
No?
In fact, during this period of 18 months while you were there, many people have been discharged as having been cured, correct?
Kansul ka ko nyi kartang anin seyo nyi kono wato men be nun je modol be jele alon ko ye bulale ko ikende yata la jaralo nyi kono.
Sedo ko ha.
I would show you some other pictures.
Kansul ka mbena dalo dol tandilela.
And you would tell us whether these are in fact pictures of people taking claim to have been cured of HIV/AIDS.
Ni natalol jube isa fo mole fo ni molle men yalon ko ni molle men ko ye jarala fo ikende yata kabo ni kuran keso la HIV/AIDS.
Mr. Chair, I'll give you the reference numbers of all these pictures. They would be exhibited in a stack.
Kansulka badila chairman.
Yes.
Yes, I confirm that discharge programs were organized and they were some of the people who were declared to be cured and
sedo ko ha programme lu keta jele dame yalon ko e ko molu mennu kendeyata wol programme lu keta jele wol natalo lemilti.
Some of these people in these photographs have testified before this commission.
Council ka nyim mo ko tango dol be membe ñu na lolto wol dol diamu tan commission ñaati ngola janne yela sédé andiro dile.
And they claim that they still have HIV.
And ye ñi te fole ko hanin ka bi HIV/AIDS kuraw ñi abelale.
Does that surprise you?
Fo e jahalle ba.
no?
Ko ma tereng.
Mane ya sabo metere.
I see you smiling.
Amuita, sedo muita.
Isn't it the case, Mr. Witness, that this so-called treatment was a hoax? It was all a lie.
Kansul kaye selo. Ninjara ro mu me obe. Fa manke mo nene ulitika mulu filinde. Amunta faniale ma ko beti.
It was all a lie.
Abe mu fanialti.
Whether it was a hoax, I think it's only Jame who can tell. But yes, it has failed. It did not succeed. I really don't know the motive, why it was done, whether it was based on good intentions or it was just for drama. I really don't know.
Akama long katu ninjara ro amume obe fonene rolom fokuso to balilem fofanialom atumandolo atibakele tumena ay ngani akendole soto purka ke barbitum ay akeda lilo menkan amalom barian labango be anata ke kuleti memmantam.
And it was known that it did not work.
Absolutely.
Absolutely what?
It did not work. My mom and my cousin are good examples.
Akamantama kadro abama ning asanawu hanimbi wol fanglu mu santi ngoleti hanimbi itata jaral kuraw men na jabela.
That is for the hypertension. It didn't work.
Yes.
And equally, it did not work for the HIV.
Anu hanin kabi onyawo nyanyara ndi nyawo fana amantama puru nying HIV/AIDS kurantiol.
Does that mean yes? I see you shaking your head. We need to register your answer on the record.
I really wouldn't know. If the patient say it did not work, then it did not work.
Well, here they are. They have testified before the TRRC. And none of them said they were cured of HIV.
Council kay ñun mol fele jang diam tara ñing commission ñaati lon jang du mote kono men diamu ta kafo ko jaratale be ko mankende ay banja.
It did not work.
Oto sedo ko wota mantama.
And during this treatment program,
council ka ni jaralo ni wicho ni kono.
Have you ever seen any single one of them sat down and cancelled by Jame or any of the members of his team about what they were to expect and the impact of the treatment was going to have on them? Have you ever seen that?
Nope.
Council ya nyinin ka fo. Wo jararo wuce nyin kono. Fo nene ya jele jamme mo sindi nyin sasa tolu kono purka aya marika kumolu faye menu bekela aning amari nyanta jikila munela sinin sama mune bekela sedo ko hani amawje.
What? Wait for the interpretation, then you give your answer. Otherwise, those watching may get lost as to what the answer was. They've never been cancelled in your presence. Wait for the interpretation.
Council ka amunda enane me kachandi inyala. Nyimol me ndara jaralo enane me kachandi inyala.
Yes.
Sedo ko ha enane me kachandi de.
In your presence, was any one of them given a choice whether to undergo the treatment or not to?
Fo ide fa nyala fo an ina ya sede ala nyimol me ndara jaralo fo ya kuoni lan ke fanna fula landi ndam fo ni lafta ita jaralo ba ni mala fe ganata ni jaralo fo yo landi en kuoni landi yo nyamalo ba.
No, not in my presence.
Ko manke ate nyala o nena manka nyala.
These patients who were subjected to the HIV/AIDS treatment, where did they live during the time of the treatment?
Nyimol men yalon ko nyin kuran keso vela ka me HIV and AIDS jaralo ni wiyo nyin kono e ben sabata den mentole.
There's a clinic, there used to be a clinic in Bakau. That's currently where they are doing the COVID center. That was where they were housed.
Ako jaral dinkira be Bakau sai kanyin COVID jankaro jara damen bar wo tembo ye nyin molu nati wo dinkira letonu.
Were they free to go home?
Fo ina etarnar tara fambulle ban pour essayer yaba.
I was not aware of their administrative details.
Akamambo ila mararo wi Kenya nyin kalama jararo wi kono.
Were you aware that they were kept under armed security?
Fo in kalam dala ko itarta marole kono me alon ko maro me alon ko be sojaro le me alon ko ni la jorangol le warando tanko bunda mol me ni la jorangol be wolle la maro kono.
No, I was not aware of that. But yes, I remembered Jamme saying that they will not be allowed to leave or to move around during the treatment.
Akamambo nyin kalama de puru ka fo ibe nung sojaro la kantaro le kono menu ni jorangol bije bari ay hakilo e nyimuta Jamme be nyim fulatu mo men ko nyimolu ite sonna pour ka murum ka taman wala ka sey yaldu.
Forced hospitalization.
What?
Amunta ye force to sindi lopitano kono.
That's what it was, wasn't it?
Amunu wala te ye force to landi mudala ye landi lopitano to je jaral dingira. Fo wala.
They see it in that way. Yes, it was.
Ni aje wala nyama tonya walem.
And how did you see it?
If they were informed and they approved and they accepted, then it was a different ball game altogether. But I was not privy to that.
Akona tara ye konyi mboye nyoto ka foye hanfo ke bondi kolu kalama. Woto omu kudole ti bari wofanana Kenya mambo kalama.
They say that they were not given a choice. So would you accept then that it was forced hospitalization?
Council kayako iko sedol ko menu diam raja menu ni yen kurantol mem raja ko ye forcé to landi lopitano nyintolo ma ko nyinta ya nyafula landi e ka wona dia de sey ko ye muraje le forcé o kan ite be muna follow.
It depends on how they got there in the first place. If they were forced to come and join the treatment, but if they came voluntarily, that they want to undergo like the way in which my mom came and did it, then it was a different ball game altogether.
Akwa tutela na nyale bulu nyinjara rokono. Natara inate fanne ye ko telefon le nata ke fandundi jara ro nyinkono komba ne insana mbama ne insana o manata no nyamin o mukuleti bar natara fanangi nata nyaado nyale ma o woto fanam mukudo leti de.
How would you have felt if Jame had told your mom and your cousin that from the day they showed up at State House, they would not go home again until they were cured of whatever ailments. How would you have felt?
Lungo men ifang ba abama aning isano koto nyin fo isano dogo fo isano koto lumene na raji State House pour ka dunyi njara lo programme nyin kono ya jaminar na na fo ko ite sela su kono fo lungo men be kendal akko nyi be kilete fang fe nyaadi le.
HIV and AIDS being a deadly and incurable disease, I would have gambled it.
Ako HIV mu jankari sangara baleti me yalon ko abuka jarano. Bari natara kolu lata wala nyama woto abe jare lata yenne pour ay dum jararo nyin kono.
So if he could cure the incurable, you would have submitted.
Amunta ning aketa mode me alan ko abe kuran jara me alan ko kural jara balolem wara munta be idadu na jel.
Yes, indeed, because at the beginning no one knows whether it was going to work or not.
Ako ha kadu afolodula mo ma lonnu wotum moko fabe kala ku ti membe tamala wala fate tamala.
But eventually it became clear.
Absolutely.
In fact, in your statement, you gave us a brief description of your understanding of the genesis of this treatment.
Kansul kay ko ila kuma kangoto ya sutiandilo ya itandi na je ko itela londo to yemel lonyi jaralo nyi programme nyi na koto même fudi yemel lonje yow do manding sata nye jele.
Can you tell us about it?
Fo isi fem fono nye ji akoro ba.
Yes, I remembered either during the process of the treatment, after the process was underway.
Ako hakilo ya muta jararo wiche onyinkono biring adamu ta foka pare abetama kantumo menna.
There was an officer at the State House
member State House
who said that it was his grandfather or his relative in Nyomi who has discovered this treatment for HIV and AIDS.
He said
that this old man actually treated a person with AIDS in Nyomi. So he said when the information was given to President Jammeh, he took ownership of that medicine.
And
that was based on the statement of someone who was serving at the State House at that time.
Could you tell us who that person is? This statement does not deserve confidentiality, so tell us who that person is.
Sehu Jallo, he left the armed forces as a captain, so I'll say Captain Sehu Jallo.
Amari to mo Sehu Jallo leti abe sojari yalla num bari bitunga be dahala sojari yalla tumo menna natale han fa futata makamo to ikafo me captain.
And could you read the last sentence in that paragraph of your statement, paragraph 19, page 6?
Lera woro njawnyu fu isa karno.
Where you said, I am not sure whether I had it directly from Seku or someone close to him, but I am sure you can ask him the genesis of the PATP. Kindly proceed with the rest of that statement, please.
As an opinionated person, I believe that President Jammeh took the treatment over from that man.
Lata la ko jamme President Jammeh ay nyin jaralo ta ka ke afango tati ka ta wo mari bulu
took ownership of it.
Ay ke afango tati.
However, there must have been a part of the treatment
bara se keno jararo la fanna sotonta
which he had not done correctly, therefore it didn't work.
Wala asekeno jararo la fanna sotonta amang menke anyama wala na jararo nyimantama.
That was my opinion.
Jammeh missed something, in your view.
munde ila miraro ya jamme kule be jame alon ko nyinata men na koma men to koma.
Yep, it was just my opinion.
Ako ha wo muntela mirarol tidro.
But what was certain was the treatment didn't work.
Bare men sabata wala nyindi ko jaralo nyin amantama.
Yes, it failed.
Sedo ko ha abaitala mantama fereng.
Thank you very much, Mr. Witness. That was the extent of our interest.
Akaya baraka bake sedo.
All we wanted to know was that this thing was a hoax. It was false. Or it was true. Your opinion is it was false. Register your answer on the record.
My opinion was that it failed. It was not successful.
Najero munyeti ko amanna tama amanke kuti men sotonta.
And because it failed, it was false.
Yes, Council.
Thank you very much. No further questions for the witness. It was a pleasure having this exchange.
Thank you, sir.
And before the witness takes the floor, Mr. Chair, and before the commissioners would ask questions, I'll just do some housekeeping issues and put in the documents in the record.
Yeah, you may please proceed.
Yes. Yesterday, Mr. Chair, for the witness that testified, the protected witness, the protected information sheet should be Exhibit 155A. And the stack of photographs provided by the witness should be 155B. And then each photograph is numbered B1, B2, up to B27, I think. I have showed this witness 2 photographs in which he is present. That should be 155B1 and 155B8. And with your indulgence, Mr. Chair, we have those exhibited with the numbers I have just mentioned.
Council, your request concerning all those exhibits is granted. And
one last one, the statement of the witness be exhibited as Exhibit 156.
That's also granted.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The witness is yours.
Thank you very much. And one of the photographs there, Council, you may not have answer for this question. There's the group photograph. Was that taken 3 days after the treatment where they were celebrating their cure, being cured, or?
This was part of the discharge ceremony. If you would recall, Mr. Chair, that we showed the video of the discharge ceremony, and they're wearing the same clothing.
And they were supposedly cured
of HIV, yes.
Amazing. Thank you very much for that clarification. Thank you, Mr. Gano, for coming to testify before the Commission. One quick question. Whose idea was it for your mother to go to the program? Was it yours, or your mom suggested that you go? If it's yours, you're a very daring son to take your mom to that kind of a program. But whose idea was it?
Ite fon kundingo ni miro bota jumale bulu pour ite fon bama e wulu bama pour ka samba nyung nyi jaralo programme nyi kono fo amira lo nyi bodete le bulu bam fo amira lo nyi bodete fan modole bulu pour ka samba ning atra bodete le bulu o deta mu dinnete mi alon ko dinne mu dingo mi alon ko e bama hatila ko wol hati bakele.
I was the one who relayed the information to them, and it was based on the fact that hypertension being an incurable disease, and as I said, the uncertainty, no one knows whether this works or not. So after extending the message to them, we decided just to give it a gamble and see whether it will work or not.
Sedo ko ate fangole o miraro in sata bamae ko mobe yalo nyame hypertension musa salti mi yalo ko abuka jarano sila ning monat loko ko ate be o jarano lal bon ko mobe yalo nyame ko se keno wala se ate kenal no wala na te afa abamae ko praita ji ay fana jararo nyini je.
Wonderful answer. Was it so? It was a collective decision.
Yes, sir.
One way to put it. Yeah, thank you very much. Commissioners, if you have any questions.
Commissioner, kia mango ni me nyini karo soro ya itani.
Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Commissioner Bishop Odiko, wale bina nyini karo la.
Mr. Lamin Gano.
Okay, Mr. Lamin Gano, Sedo.
Yes, sir.
This dream declaration of having a cure of HIV/AIDS.
Insibo ko men fintita tem ko jara lo le fintita pour kani HIV/AIDS courant jara.
I'm sure you would agree that before any declaration for any disease,
lata nyinna ko nyi lonne ko jannin kan kularo be kala ko kuran na kuro.
First scientific proof must have been ascertained.
Londi luka lonna wol nyanna ko nyinta ya kisi folo yana na ko nyinta ya sabatendi folo.
So where did it start? Was there a scientific proof that these HIV/AIDS cure was okay?
Fo ni luka lonna le na silo nyin dile bam pour nyin jaralo nyin HIV/AIDS jaralo nyin pour ay tama bam fo ni wole wo dile bam.
So I remember the Al Jazeera reporter brought the same issue to him.
Ko haklo bulata ko Al Jazeera ila reporter nyin afane o nyin kumo kan osamba ya lenu.
That this being a global, disease, that probably the WHO should be involved. His response simply was that if Coca-Cola is not revealing their secret, he is not going to reveal his secret to anyone.
Coca-Cola ning ate fanang yada na nyameng ning imo kulonging fo satate afanantala njara rongin silo fanan satala ni moy.
So there was no scientific basis to the whole issue.
Olatina ning luka londo komi kamin for scientists ala kumantaje feren.
Thank you, Imam C, followed by Imam Jallo.
Imam C, wala bina nyinin karo la silang. Sedo
Lamin Gano, nubala.
Okay, Lamin Gano, abenyadi.
Sikumitangala na pulardi.
Njikita nyina ko ifula ka omwele. Kai ha ngafula ka omwele mu fuloldi.
Ajara ma jofi argument he seda tagal.
Komisona si kai ko inumbara ba ke la songola kana seda ndirodi.
Min ko namdu to mi ko
debe men nyinin kala jang.
What I'm going to ask about here Yaya Jammeh ko gondula ko e makko when you were with Yaya Jammeh
wato men eni Yaya Jammeh be nyokan
ndew halal mam holo itti jangde ndew nyawdirta nde
fo aya fo ne ko ani londo soto min dole ni jaralo londo soto min dole.
Did he tell you how he acquired the knowledge to cure HIV/AIDS?
I should speak in English, right?
Just
speak in English, we will translate.
Directly.
He has never told me where he got the knowledge from. The meetings that he held. He will tell them the genes that he works with, curing people is their work.
Ako ya kaitandile ko atela wululal menu ya wulu
ala jinno
ala jinolu ala wululal ka jaralo ke nyun kuolal.
Yeah, so that was where he took this knowledge from.
Ko anyo londo soto woleto.
But he inherited it from the family line.
Aya keta ila family
be ngurende ko damgal jinnabe makko hebe o nyawndagal.
nena ma en be kebi go balde hono be ngoni don be chafro
jinnaɓe ma ko hono ɓe tolli joni. Oh, what your parents, where are they now?
Ha joni ɓe ni mburi kono ha joni ɓe ni jogi o high blood pressure.
Akol
ni jogi o nyaw ha joni.
Akola wulula hansa nde be baluru ne bar han kawi nyi kurang abelal.
My parents are still alive, but they are still sick. They still have this problem.
yo lo ko be celal
Amin Allahumma amin.
May Allah cure them.
Ala me sala jara kende yalla.
Thank you, Imam Jallo. Please.
Witness, mintigide ko pulat halay mi.
Oh, bismillah.
Imam Jallo said he's going to ask in fuller.
Jakili kam modon.
What doubts me about your statement?
E fala ya labbinan commission on hame wawa hebude ko hondu woni gonga e kan hala.
We want you to clarify in front of the commission what is truth, what is the truth in this whole episode.
And the English language.
You know the English language.
No jogi words in opposite to each other.
There are words which are opposite to each other in the English language.
Johnny, say good. What is the opposite of good?
If you say good, what is the opposite of good now?
Bad.
Two.
Bad.
What is the opposite of angel? Opposite of angel. And the jungle not in there is school. No. What is the opposite of angel?
The way you learned it in school. What is the opposite of being an angel?
Devil.
Devil.
What has made it very difficult for you to go through or to say that word? You have listened to you struggling or arguing with Esa about this word. And do you know what is the truth in this whole thing?
You
can tell the people in Pular today that Yajame is not an angel. If he is not an angel, then what is he?
An angel.
Sometimes he will be an angel, sometimes he will not be an angel. And thank you.
Anyway, so Satan is the one that has been substituted for that?
Yes.
Satan was an angel.
No.
He was an angel before.
A fallen angel.
Okay.
He was an angel, then he became a fallen angel, and then Satan.
Okay. Commissioner Kinte, you have the floor, please.
Mr. Gano.
Sir, Commissioner.
We learned from various witnesses that the moment the concoctions were administered on them,
Commissioner Kinte ko weni kala nyini kala kay ngani kala muta sedo dolbulu nin tembo mena nyin borol ta ya dila.
They encountered various reactions.
Among
them, in particular, the most prevalent and immediate reaction was vomiting. Have you witnessed any of the patients who vomited immediately after taking the concoction?
Yes, sir. It was very, very common.
And we were informed that the moment you vomit, you will be asked to come back and drink until you don't vomit again.
Yes, sometimes he will say the medicine is gone out, so you need to take it again so that it can be absorbed in your system. Yes,
the second reaction, which sometimes takes few minutes or so, but when we say few minutes, if there are 60 or 40 people that are going to take the concoction, actually by the time they are the last one, these reactions must have been manifested. That is diarrhea.
Ko dolu bije men ya lon ko mo dolu bije men bitala wayri mo tal lulu taworo ñonnem dolu bije men ya lon ko kol men ka kela to ñaka fatam bari nga jeko jamata ka ke kono bayoti me ya lon ko wala ke muta andun abukam me bake fangne boro min kono bayosi boyi kan silandun go yewje ñaadi.
Have you also witnessed people being driven by running stomach almost immediately or within a couple of minutes after their consumption of the concoction?
Fodum yemolu jele men ya lon ko te fanga ya sede ya ko briye nyim boro min dorong kono bayo nyapite kango temboto fo ete fanga fana yo jele nyim molu kono bang.
I did not witness it, but I believe that it was a possible reaction to the medicine. I totally believe that there was a possibility for that, just like the way they were vomiting.
Latala amanka ko nyaayaje bari latala ko o fana mu kuleti mense keno wo molula mayla fo mela kono bayolu sede yade bari bitum wo fana mu kuleti me yalon ko kulo me yalon ko ase keno molula men yenyim boromi.
We were told in some instances the concoctions weren't only one type, 2 or 3 types.
Kana kinde ka fay ko ngai yenyim fonye jango nyim boro nying amenga bori sifa kilingoti bori sifa kilingoti kilimbe je si wada fo sawa.
That's true. There are different combinations and different kinds of medicines or concoctions coming.
Selo ko muto nyalti borolu dolu bije ka façon saba nyamile dolu ke façon kilingolem wolu bijele de wolu sotontale.
You told us that you also drank either 1, 2 or the combinations of the concoctions.
Yen fonye ite fon kudno ye boro nyi ya minne membe jakasiring fo abe kele kilinne ya mi fo kilin fo fulaba ni mi alon ko abe jakasiring.
Yes, I did. We took almost all of them because Jamme will say that they are broad spectrum, that they could also cure some other ailments. So we were just trying it.
Akoha aya minne tonya katu Jamme kanyina foko nyimboro la manke ko ika kukilindron ne jara de bari isa min nole me yalon ka sikudolu jara no ite mari balala wudali le ya sabu ndelo men fanale bije fanale kaminne.
Were you also taking almost or about the same quantity as the patients, actual patients?
Adol fan kunno al kambenta fo nyin kuranto fan ikaw nangamole taba.
No, we were just taking it randomly. Sometimes our own, we just go and take it by ourselves. There was no it wasn't like structured when it comes to us, the personnel serving at the place.
Ani nteluta manke onyade nteltanka tam fayenne doronga bari amanke ko ka men sumang ntelu watini watlon ron kanan ka dota anka mim faye.
In which case, I will presume most commonly that what you take is usually a smaller quantity than the actual patients.
Correct, sir.
Woto mbenyum fola ko atelka memmin wala ka doya ka tambi yiriko la e ka mendi sasa tolula sedo fonko ha muto nyalti.
But even in that case for you, before the manifestation of whatever comes at the fingertips, what reactions did you encounter in the process?
Ita fango bring alio boro mi mudamuta hana manke ko kulu menu keta ingor e bul konding kungulula bari mun ku fasonu le ka kela itla cross roto bring alio nyim boro mi mudamuta.
Personally, I had no reaction.
Sedo ko amang ko kunding ka ke itolula atela.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. You may proceed now, Mr. Gano, to make any concluding remarks you have.
Sorry, Counsel. Just one point. The witness referred to an encounter between Jammeh and an Al Jazeera reporter.
Counsel ko kusotonta Jammeh kibar tala tema me yalonko abota Al Jazeera kibar bundal.
That is contained in Exhibit 145. Of our record.
Ila kumataringulu memu sede kumataringulu ti abe exhibit 145 wala keme tanani ani lulu njaw.
Noted. Thank you. Mr. Gano, please proceed to make your concluding remarks if you have any.
Thank you very much, sir. My concluding remarks will be directed to 3 categories of people. The first one.
Ako ala baraka na kumo kumfadula mba wulila molula fana sabalela.
The first one, I'll direct it to my colleagues in the armed forces in particular and the youth in general.
Ako following abe memfala abo wutilin na akafunyolu la meni alonko ebe Gambia la sojaru uniformolu kono anim funding kewolu.
The second one, I will direct it to the civil servant, the government civil servants.
Fulanja abo fula mansakunda do kula lela ko kama.
And the third one, I will direct it to His Excellency, the President of the Republic and the Commander-in-Chief of the Gambia Armed Forces.
Sabanjang abo tilin na banko president lela me yalonko bi atelam Gambia nyaton koti anin sojaro lube kuntonko.
Since it is a reconciliation process,
wairi nyi munyo say nyokan program moleti.
And the aim is to create a more united and peaceful and developed country.
Wairi nanganioni hamo membeje wolem kabanko molu sayndi nyokan kamurundi nyokan puru kambengo ni nyomuto si soto ay sabati banko kan.
I used to be a blogger during the political season of 2016 until the impasse.
Akwa kakun kibaro lu fintindi nun computer la sil kibar bunda lanung wato meng jamme balanta nun 2016 wuche onyin kono.
And on my last blog, I wrote, I have never committed a human rights violation. I have never witnessed a human rights violation. I have even not had anyone who come to me telling me about human rights violations that they have committed.
Ala safer labangoto ay nyim foje ko atekumo anena man hadamaya nyanta tinyake atekumo anena man hadamaya nyanta tinyaje atekumo monene man nate kan mensa foko nte dunta hadamaya nyanta tinyale kono ya kennale.
Somebody contacted me and said, what you are saying
mo sotonta dum meye kibaro sindi atemako ikamen foteng.
It is like a man who has been selling palm oil for 16 years and he said he has never been stained by palm oil.
Wolam nyindi ko momeng abe tuluse wa fola dolu ka fa tentulo fo sanji tanni woro wo mari kanalo ka foko tuluse wala tentulo nene mamma ate balola.
But my statement was true and I want to share that secret for the benefit of my colleagues in the armed forces as well as for the Gambian youths in general.
Now kuma kama dun to nyale mude wala na lafita ka janjandi ning Gambia sojarol nim funding ke ulutema banko kan.
The day that our cadet selection results were announced at Yundum Barracks,
lumente la cadet tombondiro kibaro lu fintita Yundum Barracks,
the announcement was done in front of a senior NCO mess.
Ye kankularo ke na sojar bunda la nyaton ko le nyatilungu la je.
Immediately the parade was dismissed.
Bring ila finto alinkalo parade abanta drong.
I sneaked into that senior NCO's mess.
Yole to dunta o nyaton ko la o dinkira nyinto je.
I knelt down, faced the Qibla and prayed to God.
Aka nyoita kumbali mfululu kang aya nyatilin tilibulola ala jai aya tentu.
I told God that I thank you very much for appointing me as an officer cadet of the Gambia Armed Forces.
Aka ala tentu nyinkanko wairi ya tombo ya cadet officer de Gambia la sojar bundala.
And I've entrusted my military career into your hands.
Woto na sojar ya dokuo ngachika ngadung ite Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bulokono.
I prayed for only two things.
Nduata kufulala.
One, protection.
Follow fonsi kanta ngatanka.
And secondly, blessing, for him to bless my military career.
Fulanjang fo alasi kaira dinna na sojar bunda nyinto.
So that is a message I want to leave to all soldiers and to youths in general. That always remember God and thank Him when He blesses you. Usually we remember God most when we are in adversity. And we forget about Him when we are blessed. I believe that God answered my prayers. I had the most successful military career ever. And then it was also peaceful. I had never witnessed any human rights violations. I have never been part of it.
I've
never had people discussing that we are going to commit or we have committed it. So let's remember Allah when He blessed us. And let's thank Him for those blessings. The second one is directed to the government civil servants. The election found me outside the country. After Jammeh left, I decided I'm coming back to Gambia to contribute to whatever is happening here. I came back in March 2017. From then until May in 2018, it was the most frustrating part of my life. When I returned to the Gambia, it coincided with an advert from the UNDP advertising for a security sector reform position with the Gambia government. They were asking for 3 requirements. One, a master's degree. Experience in security. And service with the United Nations. I ticked all the boxes, so I applied. A few weeks later, they sent me an email that their computer system has a problem, so they have reset it, so let me reapply again. I reapplied and they emailed me again a few weeks later with the same statement. After the 3rd time, I was invited to an exam. And that was the end of it. So later on, I heard from people who have been associated with the situation in the background that there was a senior member of the government who was part of the coalition who said that I was not in support of the coalition during the campaign and the impasse, so as a result, they don't want to work with me.
Wato meng tebe do ko la kana hanfo jamme balanta wato meng mang la itulukang o dalilo le asabu man lafi purunte ni taranyokan.
That vacancy was never filled.
Wo palaso mo nene mankeje.
A few months later,
kardanta wokola,
a United States agency advertised a position for a security advisor.
United States, well, America, inata bunda kankula ko isulata yamar la kanton in tankadala karola.
I applied and I was successful.
And
they informed me that they are waiting for confirmation from Washington. After a few weeks, I was informed that they have given the position to the person who came second. And the reason was that because I was associated with Jammeh, they are afraid that I might have been involved in some shady things. And it will be very embarrassing for them, for their personnel, to be dragged into a TRRC or a court procedure. So I said to myself, if I cannot work for my government and I cannot work for international organizations in the country,
woto nganyum fam faye ko woto ninta do ko keno la naman sakundai mando ko keno banku nim bankute ma bundali.
Let me open my own business and do my own thing.
Woto mbadu ngam fansun safar bunda yele ngam fansun koke.
So I started the process of applying for a license to operate a private security company.
Utumolem ngada mutaka safero ke fo isi laisino dinna nsim fansun kanto nin tankada do ku bunda londi.
There are a series of steps involved.
Wo simfa jamal menu bulata nyono ma wollebe o kokono.
And they culminate with the approval of the permanent secretary at the Interior Ministry.
Andungolu fanalu beni mole la songo kata nyola mem permanent secretary minister bunda la mem marta banko kan kunya la tubabul kafame Interior.
I passed all the hurdles, including the approval of the PS.
Wolu kolu membebe larin lanyalu to. Ngaw lanyalu be sawne hani for permanent secretary fon la ko nga ko salang.
But the minister said he will still not sign it because he's still not sure whether I am completely clean.
Bari minister ko ata sign la katu amalla photo nyato nyante senaya talebang.
So after that, I say, okay, so I cannot work for my government, I cannot work for international agencies, I cannot even run a business in my country.
Ako biro batala ko mandu ko keno naman sakundai, mandu ko keno bankunim bankute mabundai, je hani safaro fana masoton no mbementa mandila na banko kang.
So that day I gave up on Moda Gambia.
Ako wulunem bitung aya dabo Gambia la fango la kuoluto.
And then I moved to the UK with the intention to resettle in England.
Bitung utumolem atata United Kingdom puru asitasi England banko kang.
But luckily a few months later,
bari alanata makoy kardanta dorongo kola,
a new minister was appointed.
Ye minister kuto tombo.
And then he approved my license, and then I was called, informed that I've been granted the license.
Wonatan kumande ko nga liceno me nyinin ibulu isontale silang ye liceno nyin londile purun sa soto ye liceno nyin dinna.
So I returned in May 2018 to start 5-star security.
Sai ngotumolem nseitana May 2018 purungana 5-star kanta bunda londi jam.
So my advice to the civil service and people in authority in the civil services,
gotonna yamarobe kala menti moli menu be man sakunda do ku bunda la ani menu ba kono,
for them to open up their minds and their hearts,
pour si ngani yolu yele ani sondo molu kay yele,
and to accommodate everyone, even if they differ in political affiliation. My final advice is for His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief in 2005 when I went to Ghana to do my YOC.
2005, Brindara Ghana, Purkana YOC Karamokije.
Former President John Kufuor just started his second mandate.
Memu President John Kufuor wotumolem amame drong weyala nyatonkaya damutaje.
He took over from President Jerry Rawlings.
Atayeman sayata President Jerry Rawlings lebulunu.
We may all know that JJ, as he is popularly called, he was one of the most charismatic and eloquent presidents ever in West Africa.
Ko mo findula nyinteliji fanala mole meya lonko ala kulu lankene mata ndu mole meya lonko ala kuke talu fanalu lankene mata wala nyama.
And we may be privy to some of the things that he did during when he was in power.
Adun asekeno le kontelu fangulu ye ko dolu lonne abesembo to tuma mena ay kulu menuke,
including the execution of high-profile officers in broad daylight.
Men keta nyinti ko ay nyaton ka jama dolu fangulu mutale kay fatili bula bala kenoto.
When I came to Ghana 4 years after his presidency, Kufuor has successfully wiped out all the traces of J.J. Rawlings from the military.
Kufuor wayatara J.J. Rawlings la lodalumu femfenti sojarolu bunda la karola wayatara Kufuor yewlu be seneyandile frenke bondije.
Senior officers of the Ghana Armed Forces were
themselves
going around preaching the doctrine of civilian oversight of military institutions,
be diamu kan civilian lu fanal la jero ni lotan kan nyanta kala menti sojaro la karola
and then hailing, the beauty of democracy and good governance.
Andu tumo democracy animaralinya nyimma wala beteya e bewole jay kan wotumo.
So my deduction from that,
wotonde ko menta woto,
as well as the research that I did at my master's, which was based on military intervention in politics,
adung defana nata kisikisiro menkenum biringana karango ke mentilinta sojarian in politico kunya la karola,
is that soldiers or the military,
wala mnyintiko sojarolu wala sojar bundalu,
they are as flexible, as fluid as water.
Isi falino le andu ila kuolu si sono yano le purke mamman ko jiobe nyami.
They take the shape of whatever container you put them in.
Itel munyan konkorongole te yeke kera wo keran kono inio kerangole la kanya katanyola.
If they have a commander-in-chief or a government who is a dictator,
ni nyatonka soto wala kundonka soto meya lonko sembe kilim maralla le muati,
they will become monsters and devils.
ibekela setanol ning kujaw kelaleti.
If they have a commander-in-chief who is a warmonger,
and
that commander-in-chief send them to Iraq or Afghanistan, they will go there and fight like lions. If they have a commander-in-chief who is a prophet, they will behave like angels. So my advice to His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Gambian Forces, that let him take ownership and responsibility of the Gambian Forces, and let him save them for the benefit of they themselves, the soldiers, as well as for the benefit of the country. There are more than 6,000 youths there, physically, mentally, and psychologically fit. They can be an asset to this country in any aspect that the civilian authorities want. They can play key roles in international peacekeeping or other development initiatives like engineering, agriculture, IT, etc.
Masina dokuo wala sayin jamano computer lasili dokuo la karola wala anyonku katangulu.
I thank you most sincerely for having me in the commission.
Mbali be numbara la anyama nyabe sio nyama puru alienso to commission okono jang.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Mbali be kontona.
Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.
Ala tentu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gano. And again, thank you for coming to testify before the commission.
Chairman ko Mr. Gano inumbara bake isonta kana sede yaro la commission nyati lingula.
Before I let you go, just one quick clarification.
Janimbe bulala yeta nlafta sene yandiri kilin la mensi taria.
Your first chapter that you did not violate anyone's human rights. You did not witness violation of anybody's human rights, and that nobody came to you to say that his human rights have been violated.
Iko ite fangu nene mamola nyanto tinya. Adung inene maje mola nyanto tinya dame adung mo nene manna ite kang menko yala nyanto tinya.
Are you maintaining that, or after some exchange with council, you changing part of that one? You cannot say that you did not witness violation of people's human rights when 18 months you witnessed the massive abuse of the human rights of those people who participated in the President's Summer Program. Are you maintaining that part, that you did not witness?
Ibo kumole londi labang. Biriye sanji kilin kariworo wala sanji kilin nin talake ya jammela do ko nyin kono wato men akate be jara rola isa fono ko ite mawo hadama ya nyanta tinya hani kilin sede yaba.
Perhaps I should rephrase that to torture. Instead of human rights violations, I will replace it with torture.
Woto nsioto falin no le ka foko namana fo hadama ya nyanta tinya nsafo no ko tajire yalem.
Torture or extrajudicial killings.
Tajire ya wala kamulu tilimbali atofa.
Thank you very much for that clarification.
Thank you, sir.
Council, you want to...
Chairman Kaya Lumba.
Mr. Chair, for our own education, that too was torture.
Council Kaya, Mr. Chair, puru kanna londo la fa ofana mutajire yalti.
The forced drinking of horrible concoctions.
Kamulu forse ke imindi bori sangarolula.
Under the most difficult conditions.
Wati koleng balula.
Under conditions of false imprisonment.
Anin kamulu sorong kusoto balulu kang.
It's not only inhuman and degrading, it was also torture.
Amanke kuti memu hadamayatinya dan manti bari tajire yale mu ofananti.
Okay, Council, we'll leave it at that.
Sedo ko Council na kotu je wonya. Council ka e nimbara.
Thank you, Mr. Gano. You and your mother and your cousin were also victims.
Council ka e nimbara, Mr. Gano.
Violation.
Iba ani baring albeta hadamaya nyanta tinyala kon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you again for coming to testify before the Commission.
Chairman.
We will end our proceedings here and then resume tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock sharp.
Council ka e nimbara bitumbe dan
Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned.
Ala barka be mo banda.
Yes, we.